All right. We want to thank you all for being here tonight. Just forewarn you, Greg's been kind of sick this week, so his voice is a little weak. So if we have any problems, we will deal with that as we go. Greg, let's just jump right into it. How about that?
Okay. Thank you all for listening. Hope you're having a great Christmas week. This has been a wonderful series. If you have not had the opportunity to hear the previous ones, you should. The history of the sovereign is exciting. That's why I chose it to be one of the key parts of the Goldmark collection. It is the only global coin minted on virtually every continent. It's also got one of the greatest diversities of any series. It's been said spice is the variety of life, and the English sovereign has got an incredible number of varieties. The more the better. Collectors love all these different varieties that come in numerous different types. In the earlier part of the series, I discussed all the variables that make the English sovereign one of the world's greatest coins. Despite that, it's a tremendous bargain. We're intent on trying to build a set of the sovereigns. I believe the set would be worth multiples of what we paid for it the day we finished, just because it is such a undervalued and exciting series that collectors of wealth around the world would love to be able to have a set assembled, ready to go, handed to them to build their collection on. And so that's our motivation for wanting to do something like what we're doing. It's all about the excitement of buying something undervalued and hopefully profiting from it. Now, I mentioned that variety is the spice of life, and there is not one part of the English Sovereign series that has more variety than that of Queen Victoria. Since Queen Victoria is the longest reigning monarch in English history, Queen Elizabeth is rapidly closing in on that, but Victoria still holds the record at 64 years. During her reign, there were probably on the range of nearly 1,000 different sovereign varieties created. Just that one series alone, it has so much variety that researchers have even scratched the surface in determining and analyzing rarity. For instance, not only was the coin made each year, but in addition to that, it was made at numerous mints, because during the reign of Queen Victoria, Great Britain reached the zenith of its power, and this is the era when it became the world coin. So the Victorian sovereign has been minted on 5 continents. So we have all these different mints that existed, a total of 7 of them that were where Victorian sovereigns were minted. Then on top of that, we have many different types of varieties of finishes, like the one you're looking at here. This particularly beautiful piece is essentially flawless. This is the finest known of its era, an 1871 sovereign. I'm pleased to say that's a part of the Goldmark collection. And just in this one great rarity alone, there are 4 more varieties. Some were made with plain edge, some were made with a milled or reeded edge around it. Some were made with the St. George slaying the dragon design you see. Some were made with a shield design. So we've got 4 different designs of the 1871 sovereign. Then on top of that, there were numerous die lots made, and each one has its own separate die lot. So in 1 year alone, there could be as many as 30 different designs of the coin. It's pretty amazing, the amount of variety that exists. And some of these can be bought very, very reasonably. So this is a great opportunity for us in the Golden Art collection. Here is one from 1872, and this is a mint condition coin, high grade piece, and yet this is quite reasonable in value. This is a coin that can be bought for less than $2,000. The Australian mint, in Australia there were 3 different mints: Melbourne, Perth, and Sydney. This particular coin was made in Melbourne and is an exceptional brand new mint condition coin. What's so exciting about the Golden Art collection, folks, is that I have sought out to buy the best for every date and variety that exists. If a better one should come up, then I grab it and upgrade our collection. But as I scroll through these coins, you'll see these are beautiful mint condition coins from all these different places around the globe. None of them, though, are terribly expensive. These are all quite reasonable. Generally speaking, $3,000 or less. So I'm not going to do anything other than just to explain that to you as we go through here, folks. You can see here's another one. This one from Sydney, another beautiful mint condition sovereign. Now the mint mark on these is on the reverse or back of the coin, right above the date. The photograph is not detailed enough for you to be able to see that, but that's where it shows up. I'll move my cursor here, and it's right here where the mint mark shows up. This one, again, from the Melbourne Mint, again, in mint condition. And again, none of these are more than a few $1,000s, despite their rarity. Here we have one from the Sydney Mint. This design is called the Young Head design. It first started in 1837 and continued all the way up until 1887, when Queen Victoria was then no longer young. So the design is one of the favorites because it's the longest part of the Victorian series. Quite a few varieties, again, within the Victorian series, making it probably the world's most heavily collected gold coin on Earth. Another from 1881 from the Sydney Mint. Here we have the shield back design. Here you see earlier, that's the standard St. George slaying the dragon. Unfortunately, these are all upside down from the back. Maybe we'll have another one that where you'll have to kind of turn your computer over to see that, because the holder shows it, of course, the way the coin actually exists. There we have the shield back again. Now on to 1882. As you can see, as we continue our collection, everything is in mint condition. I do not go below that grade unless something is a major rarity. 1883, this is from the Melbourne Mint. 1884 from the Sydney Mint. Here we are from 1885. Now, this one from 1886, you can see, is the first one that I've come across that's not mint condition. It's slightly less. It's a grade of AU58. You see that right here on the top of the holder. And that means it's seen just a slight amount of circulation. It's still an attractive coin, still all the details present, but this is an extreme rarity. Even in this condition, it's worth well over $10,000, and there's only a few of them known to exist. So I have not seen one any better than this. So this is the best one I've been able to find. Should we find a better one, of course, we'd upgrade it, but in several years now, this is the best we've been able to find of this major rarity. Now here is a particularly unusual coin. This one is a pattern design showing the veiled head design. Here Queen Victoria is shown in her mourning clothes. That's called the veiled head design because this took place at the time. What am I thinking of? Excuse me, I've got my designs here mixed up. That's the next one. Here we have her in her Jubilee headdress design celebrating her 50th anniversary of being on the throne. A major celebration was held in 1887 to celebrate her 50th anniversary, and a number of presentation pieces were created, as well as full proof sets of all different denominations, from the smallest silver coin all the way up to the largest gold coin. These sets are quite desirable for collectors, and whenever I can find a complete proof set, I grab those because they are collected worldwide. This particular piece is unique, meaning one of a kind. As you can see, we only have the design on one side of the coin. I'm not quite certain why this was created that way, because usually this was done because there is a flip side, meaning a coin with only the reverse design on it, no obverse, and the two were laid out on a velvet tray and showed to the royalty to see what they look like, so they wouldn't have to pick it up and turn it over, and they could just see the designs. But there is no reverse known to exist. Perhaps it was made and it just is not known to exist. But that's the reason why that was done, folks, is so that it could be put on a tray, shown to the Queen, and she could approve the design. Well, this design was not approved for the presentation piece proof set, but this was done for possible presentation purposes for Indian royalty. As you might notice there, it says Victoria, Queen of Great Britain, Empress of India. So we're not quite certain what the purpose of this great rarity is, but the conclusion is that it's unique, and that's the bottom line of all we really care about. Being the only one known to exist, it's a fabulous rarity, and therefore we want it in the Gold Mar collection. Now, this is a roughly $100,000 coin to give you an idea of value. In the United States, gold coins where there's only one known of are usually worth $1 million or more. So again, you begin to see the relative difference in value here at about 10 times. That's the reason why Tom and I are so excited about building this collection, is because of that relative difference in value. Here we have a standard sovereign made for commerce, and you see there again that this now has the Jubilee or 50th anniversary design head on it. The young head design has now been retired, and now the new 50th anniversary design head is in place. Again, another, just chronicling through all the ones that exist in our collection, so you can see that we've got one as much as possible for every year of production. And that's our plan, is to at least start with one of every year, and then as we are able to expand, get one of every year and mint. That would be, of course, the ultimate complete collection, to get them from every corner of the globe in every mint. 1890, now this one made in England. Now, this is the most unusual sovereign that we have in the Gold Mar collections so far. It's also unique, and the design is unique as well. So we have a unique coin, a unique design, never before has this design been made on any other coin in Great Britain's history. So it shows a very elaborate work of art with St. George slaying the dragon in a design that is not replicated on any other coin. We see Queen Victoria in her 50th anniversary headdress outfit there again, but this time it's the design that looks different. This is an amazing coin. The condition is essentially flawless. One of our lucky friends who may even be on the call tonight owns this amazing treasure. Again, this is a coin worth roughly around $100,000. An American version like this, easily 10 times this. So this is a spectacular work of art. My only regret is I wish we could offer one for everybody, but it's the only one known to exist. So that's what's so amazing about this collection, folks. We could build a collection of 1,000 plus sovereigns, and the total cost of the whole thing may only be $20, $25 million. And in that collection, there'll be numerous one-of-a-kind major rarities like the one you're looking at now and the one that you were looking at just a moment ago. There are numerous one-of-a-kind rarities in this series, and yet in the American series, a single coin of this caliber can be worth as much as $20 million. So one coin, $20 million, or an entire series of coins with many of them just as rare for the same amount of money. It's just, the math just is unbelievable. We can't even begin to fathom how amazing this opportunity is because the Sovereign series is incredibly rare. Now, folks, Tom and I have really been working flat out hard, and with your help, we are succeeding at building this collection. These trophy rarities that you're seeing where there's only one known to exist, we would not have been able to buy them if it wasn't for us working together. And we can always buy the common years, but the one-of-a-kind major rarities, when they come on the market, they may only come on the market once every 100 years. So I am diligent with our group of buyers hunting globally, looking for these because I fully recognize that if one comes on the market and we miss it, then our chance to buy that rarity could be gone for another generation or longer. So amazingly, we have been successful at being able to get in first place every time one of these great rarities have come on the market globally. So that track record has allowed us to build the Golden Art collection of sovereigns unabatedly, and we've not had to say no to any great rarity yet. Admittedly, there's been some times where it's been a financial squeeze on us because we've wanted to say yes to everything and have not said no. So sometimes that empties the bank account, but that's the way it is. We can't just order these from a factory somewhere. When they come to the market, we have to say yes. So now here we have one from 1896, and now it has shifted to the veiled head design. There are three major designs of the Victorian series: the young head, the Jubilee head, and now, sadly, the veiled head. This design was implemented in 1893 at the time that Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, died. So since she was in mourning for that event, this new design was created to reflect that. It continued through the late 1890s, all the way up until the time of her death in 1901. And this draws to a conclusion the Victorian series as the greatest so far to date of the English sovereign collection. Okay, now after this time frame, we see here first, the very first matte proof. You see right here in the design it says Great Britain matte. Now, hold on a moment. Now, what is a matte? Matte proofs are specially made at the mint. They're sandblasted actually at the mint to create a pebbly finish. So this particular coin was designed to look rather coarse and granular. It was an experimental finish. The United States actually did the same thing right about the same time with its coinage, coincidentally. So while the United States did it for a number of years, Great Britain only did it the 1 year here with Edward VII. And so this created a 1-year rarity. Now, here we have one from 1905 at the Melbourne Mint. As you can see here, under Edward VII, the coins were still being made globally. 1913 in Melbourne also. And here's one from Canada from 1914 in the Canadian Mint. Now we have a new ruler here, George V. And the first one minted in India also with George V. That's what the I stands for on it, the India Mint. Again, the mint mark is right here on the back above the date. From Canada again, Canada still being part of the British Commonwealth today. Now this is a major rarity from 1921 in the Sydney Mint. This is the finest one known. This is a gem condition George V sovereign from Sydney. Only a small number of these are known to exist. Now this one is a proof. This was made at the South African Mint. That's what the SA stands for, as the mint mark. Only 655 of these were actually minted. This is a great coin in gem condition. It's not that valuable considering how rare it is. I believe this one cost us around $7,000 in gem condition. It's quite a bargain considering its rarity. Now this is a major rarity from 1924. Only about a dozen are known to exist of this major rarity. We've actually been able to find 2 of them so far. This one from 1926 from the Perth Mint. Not too many have we found from the Perth Mint so far, but of course that is the goal, is to build out one not just from each year, but from one from each year and mint. Initially, I'm just focusing on the major rarities. As we have time and resources, then I'll continue to expand out to get all of them. Now, this is an enigma in the coinage series because I tell everyone that for the most part we buy coins in the 1930s and earlier. These next 2 are the lone exceptions to that. Well, actually, there's 4 total. We only have 2 pictured here tonight. But Great Britain made 4 major rarities during the Elizabeth series: 1957, 1958, 1963, and 1976. Only a dozen or so have been made of each one. In the case of 1976, there's only 2 that were made. So the Elizabeth series does contain some major rarities. There's actually one more from 1953 I should have mentioned. There's only 2 known of the 1953. I have not been able to find one of those yet. The last sale was around $500,000 for the 1953. It's a very important rarity. So there are a few exceptions of some major rarities past 1930. And the Elizabeth series could end up being the new version of what the Victorian is now, should she reign for just a few more years. She's already had her 60th anniversary, just a little while longer, and she'll best Victoria's record, and that will increase interest in the Elizabeth series. So we're anticipating that and building a great collection of the major Elizabeth rarities. This is a very desirable, important series, and despite the fact that it's more modern, does not take away from its great rarity. This one is the finest known from 1958. It has incredible contrast. That's what it refers to in the description, where it says D-cam. First of all, the grade, proof 67, that's essentially the highest that's possible to go on the scale. Nothing's ever been graded higher than that, regardless of year. So that's the highest. And then D stands for deep, and then cam stands for cameo. That shows the two-tone contrast between the head and the fields here. So this is a spectacular gem. Now here you have a better vista or view of the St. George slaying the dragon, because you can see it on the right side up in this particular case. So this is the famous work of art that Great Britain is known for. This was first created back in 1820. It's still being used today, so it's a beautiful, long-running series, to say the least. Well, you've now seen a tour of the Great Goldmark Collection. It's a Sovereign series. As you might imagine, it's continually being added on to. As a matter of fact, some of our recent editions we were not able to get onto the webinar because we just bought them over the past couple of months, and we have just only now beginning a photograph. For instance, the 1976 mega rarity of the Elizabeth series, we only just took possession of it a week ago, so we didn't have time to get every last one in. So, but this collection will continue to keep growing. The purpose here tonight was just to give you an idea, and over the previous weeks, what we bought so far, so you can begin to grasp the extent of our collection and be a part of it, and understand that your coin is not just on its own out there, but that it's got plenty of friends in bank boxes around the country that are earmarking it as being a part of the Goldmark collection. Okay, Tom, why don't you take it from here?
All right. We told you we were going to talk to you about some great gifts related to gold. So if you go ahead to the next slide, Greg. You see here several different nice mahogany boxes. These are beautiful polished mahogany cases. Some of you have gotten them for your coins, and they come in different sizes. The one on the top there holds one slab, as they're called. All of these are designed to hold either NGC slabs or PCGS slabs. The clear ones, like you're seeing here in this picture, are PCGS, and some of the white slabs where the coin is surrounded completely by white plastic are NGC. So these slabs will hold either type, and what you're looking at here is a selection of boxes, and the one that's open with a coin in it is obviously the single slab. Next slide. I want to move your arrow down to the right there, Greg. They come in 5 different sizes, holding 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 slabs, and there are the prices. They run from $30 to $70. Beautifully made with velvet around the slab, and then satin in the top of the case. Next slide. Here's a couple of different individual coins. We just picked out a few nice ones. The one on the left is one of my personal favorite coins. It's a British noble. The one on the right is a French 100 francs. So you can see how they look in individual display boxes. Next. Here are some individual pictures, one being a Napoleon III 100 francs and the other being a Victoria sovereign. And they're usually displayed with the obverse out. Some people really like the reverse, particularly the St. George coins. For instance, St. George slaying the dragon. A lot of Christians really like it because it's like the devil getting in the neck with a sword. So they might display the reverse of a coin that has a really nice reverse instead. Next. Now here we're getting into something really, really interesting. This is an idea that Greg had, and I think it's a wonderful idea. A lot of people want to get a variety of coins. Some people specialize, like there's a gentleman on the call right now that specializes in sovereigns, and so he's basically just buying every great sovereign he can find. I was talking to another gentleman today who specializes in 100 francs, and he's he's probably got the best collection of 100 francs that we're aware of. But this is an eclectic collection. You've heard Greg talk many times about the flagship coins of the world. There's only 4 of them. And here you're looking at a case that has all 4 of them. The top left is a US $20 1-ounce gold coin. The top right is a Spanish 8 escudos. A little bit hard to see in the picture, the definition of the coins. Then the bottom left is a French 100 francs. All 3 of those are 1-ounce coins. And the bottom right is slightly more. It's about 1 1/4 ounces. That is a Victoria. It can be called a 5 sovereign, a 5 guineas, or 5 pounds, depending on the period. The point is, for around $12,000 or up, you can own all 4 of these great flagship coins. The flagship coins are huge coins, the biggest gold coins that nations make, and only 4 nations made them. So in one case, you can have all 4 of them and have a diversity of geography, if you will. Now I say 12,000 and up because we never know exactly what the market is going to hand us. We might be able to find a relatively inexpensive 5 pounds or 5 sovereign at any particular time, or perhaps the least expensive one might be $1,000 or $2,000 more. But the cheapest I've been able to see in, say, the last 6 months where we could get all 4 coins has been around $12,000. As I say, if you want to get really, really nice ones, the more rare a coin is, the more expensive it is. The better condition it is, the more expensive it is. So you can see these same sets much, much nicer and much, much more expensive. It all depends on what your needs and desires are. But it's a really neat idea that Greg came up with of putting together a set like this of the flagship coins. Next slide. You've heard Greg talk about the fact that tonight that the sovereign has been produced on almost every continent in the world. Obviously, the British didn't go setting up mints in the Arctic or Antarctica, but every other continent in the world, there were mints. So you can get a complete set of sovereigns, where there's one sovereign from each of these continents, which is really a unique gift. And it can be as little as $5,000. Now, of course, for $5,000, these are not going to be the key dates, the real extreme rarities, and they're not going to be the highest condition, but you get some very, very nice condition coins from each of the continents in one set, and it makes a beautiful gift. So you might want to keep that in mind. Okay, next slide. All right, I mentioned earlier that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day would be no webinars next. And here are our announcements. You're attending our Tuesday Advanced Goal webinar, as I'm sure you're aware. You may not be aware that we also do the Christian Financial Concepts sponsors a webinar series called the Financial Education Webinars, and it's all about different aspects of finance, including what the Bible has to say about money, personal financial planning, and many other types of webinars, a wide variety of speakers. So you need to request to be on each list. So if you're receiving the notices for the Gold webinars, but you'd like to receive the financial education, just send us an email to the address there, webinars@bellsouth.net, and we'll be more than happy to add you to the list. Or if you just come as a guest as someone tonight and you'd like to be on the Gold webinar list, just request that. Note that the Gold webinars are always held a little bit earlier, 6 o'clock Eastern rather than 8 p.m. Eastern, because Greg teaches these from Europe. Our phone number's there on the screen. You can also use that email address, webinars@bellsouth.net, to request recordings. Every one of these webinars is recorded. So let's say that you'd like to be on the webinar list for Monday or Tuesday night, but you can't make every one of them. Don't worry about it. If you can't make a webinar, just send us an email the next day. You can actually just reply to the email that we sent you announcing it, so we'll know which one you're interested in, and say, please send me the recording. If you are just not interested in that particular webinar, because we always send an announcement out ahead of time letting you know what it's going to be about, then just leave the email. You can go to christianfinancialconcepts.com if you'd like to see all the webinars in one place. Rather, some people find it easier to send for the email and just click on the link and download it and not have to search around, because we do have hundreds of hours of webinars, both the Monday night and the Tuesday night on Christian Financial Concepts. But if you prefer, you can go to that website and view them directly online. And finally, we've been mostly just talking about the Sovereign series here. And by the way, if you didn't get to listen to all 7 of them, send an email and just ask for the Gold webinar recordings in general, and you'll get these previous 6 webinars. But if you'd like to learn more about investing in gold, there's a whole website for this called goldenarttreasures.com, and there we talk about how to invest in gold, why it's better to invest in investment-grade gold rather than bullion, and so on. Fascinating website, and has a lot of great information on it. You can also, if you're new to all of this, request something called the Gold Education Starter Package, and it's got the basic gold webinars. The webinar we're listening to tonight is an advanced gold webinar, and we do recommend that you watch the 4 basic gold webinars, Gold 101 through 401. And finally, each month, the person who attends the most webinars, Monday and Tuesday night webinars, receives a gold certificate. This is back from the good old days when the United States had real money, when our paper money was backed by gold. And your money was either a $20 gold coin like the one I just showed you, or a piece of paper that said $20 on it, but it can be redeemed for gold. And so the gift we give is valued around $200 in good condition, and that is a gold certificate. So it's now time for questions and comments. Those of you that are logged in through the question panel can just type the same place where you typed your name when you signed in. That's where you put your questions. I do see one question that came in the chat area, and next time, Christine, you might want to look for the word questions in the control panel, because we don't always monitor the chat area, but I happen to see this one. And Christine asked, Greg or Tom, what is your favorite coin of all time and why? And I think you're much better qualified to answer that and really all the questions than I.
My wife asked me not too long ago if you could have only kept one coin. Or, excuse me. She said, which coin would you have liked to have kept the most over the years since you have been buying and selling coins? My answer was all of them. I don't want to sound like being a gluttonous pig at an all-you-can-eat buffet or something, but I want them all. So to answer your question is that there is not a favorite. I want them all. Now, the reason I answered my wife that way is because she said, do you ever regret ever selling one particular piece? So they said, no, I regret selling them, all of them. And that's because they're all worth far more than what I paid for. Now, that's the whole reason why Tom and I got together, because when I launched my career at the age of 13 back in 1970 with American coins, my business plan was simply to buy and sell dealer to dealer. So no customers whatsoever, no retail marketing operation to sell over the internet, because obviously it didn't exist then. No, my business plan was just to resell coins that I bought from one dealer to another dealer. So obviously, to be successful at this business plan, I had to know what I was doing, because no dealer was going to pay more for what I paid for it unless he thought I got a good buy and was willing to offer me a profit. Now, well, the strategy made sense, and I did make money as a teenager. However, it led me to the regret that I had later in life of the question being posed, which coin do you wish you'd kept? And the answer is all of them, because I'd sold them to other dealers and they were gone. So that brings me to the point of meeting Tom, saying that, listen, we've got a second chance here. Not only is this like stepping into a time machine and all of you getting a second chance to buy great rarities for pennies on the dollar and step back in the time machine in 1970 and start all over again. So not only is it a second chance for you, it's a second chance for me, because this time around I'm not going to make the mistake I did the first time and resell all the coins to other dealers. This time I know where they are, so I won't have that regret of saying, gosh, I wish I hadn't sold that. This time I'll be able to say, you know what, I sold it to such and such friend of Tom, and I know exactly where it is, and that's the reason why we're doing this today. So I love them all.
Good answer. And by the way, folks, we don't sell to dealers, period. I just want to underscore that. Even if a dealer offers us more than we're selling to a client for, we're not going to do that, because once a dealer has it in his possession and he sells it to one of his clients, he's not going to tell us who his clients are. And if we need to go back and find that coin to put it together into a really great collection, we're out of luck. So we'd rather sell it for less to someone that we know that's committed to holding it. We're looking at these coins at about a 5-year hold, and some of the other webinars explain the reasoning for that. But right now we're buying coins at 10 cents on the dollar, sometimes less, compared to comparable U.S. coins. All four of those flagship coins I showed you earlier used to sell for roughly the same price if they were in the same condition, the same rarity. And then we got this revolution in the U.S. coin industry, actually North American, where PCGS started doing third-party grading, and NGC followed a year later. And bottom line is that you could buy coins sight unseen with perfect confidence, because these grading companies not only verified the authenticity of the coin and told you what the grade was, but they guaranteed their work. So that just caused a huge, huge upswing in prices, thousands of percent in many cases, since 1986 for U.S. coins. And during that same period of time, the European coins have gone up every year. The really rare ones, they haven't had a down year whatsoever. But they've only gone up, on average, say 10% as much as the U.S. coins. So what we're hearing from the people that really understand this is that over the next 5 years, we can look to see critical mass reached in European coins, which would be where 50% or more of the coins are graded. And we're not saying that the prices are going to be the same as the U.S. coins in that period of time. If that was the case, they'd all be up 1,000%. But we could well see 300 to 500% on a lot of the rare coins, and up to 1,000% on some of the extreme mega rarities. So it's really a good business plan. Only selling coins to people who understand the concept and are going to hold them and be part of something much, much bigger than themselves. Not too many of us can afford to buy a $5 million collection of coins, but all of us can afford to buy one or two or a few coins within that great collection. So I'm just looking, I don't see any other questions on the panel. So if there are no further questions, then we're going to wrap this up, and I'll let Greg make his final comments.
Well, you can also ask questions about anything related to this series or anything about gold coins in general. So we'll give you one more moment to consider that. This, again, is the last webinar of the year. Doesn't mean, though, that you can't reach Tom or myself. If any of you would like a private one-on-one consultation with either Tom or myself, please let us know. There's the contact information there. This will be another history-making year, folks. So we expect 2012 to end out the year at the 12th straight year up for the price of gold. We'll begin talking to you next year with a new goal of it being the 13th straight year. Now, why is gold doing this? It's because it's very simple. The more dollars or euros or pounds or whatever currency you want to pick are printed, the less each one is worth. And there's no question, folks, that gold is going to go higher. What it does day to day, we don't know, but year to year, it is definitely going to go higher. It's got an incredible track record, and of course, rare gold coins have an even better track record. There's never been a down year for the great rarities. So this is the reason why we focus on them. This is where you can achieve comfort and safety by building your assets in a place knowing that no one can get to them. Rare coins are great for ownership because of their safety, privacy. The government doesn't know about them. Your neighbor doesn't know about them. This is where people find their peace in having their assets in a place that no one can get to. It's also a great opportunity to give gold we have built up a pretty big availability of some of the lesser expensive items that can be given as presents. So if that's appealing to you, let Tom or myself know right away. They're still maybe in time to get them out to you right away. Okay, any last questions, Tom? If not, I'll say...
We do have a question here. And by the way, are you feeling up to making a call tonight if anyone would like to chat with you?
Yeah, I just so you know, folks, I've had the worst flu of my life over the past week, and it's been a really rough experience. But I'm feeling better now, but my voice is weak from being so heavily congested. So I feel fine, and this webinar has actually gone better than I expected. I thought I might have a complete blowout with uncontrollable coughing, because I've had these coughing fits from time to time. So yes, I am up to talking, not tired at all, because frankly I've been sleeping so much I need to get up and do something. So more than willing to talk to you folks. And if somebody would like to even speak now, I'm more than willing to do so. This is a good time for me, actually.
Okay,
so if you'd like to...
First one that raises their hand, Greg will give them a call after the webinar. All right, one quick announcement, and then we'll do this last question because we're running out of time. The office will be closed Christmas week. Obviously, we're not going to be here Christmas Eve or Christmas Day anyway, and there's only 3 other days, the 26th, 27th, 28th. So that's the week between Christmas and New Year's. The office will be closed. However, every day except Christmas, someone from my staff will be checking for messages. So if you have anything important that can't wait till after the first of the year, go ahead and call and leave a message. If you'd like to talk to Greg, call and my staff people here, whoever, I'm not sure who's going to be handling the calls, but whoever it is, we'll get a hold of Greg for you. All right, Scott from Oregon asks, the billion-dollar concept that you talk about, the billion-dollar gain that we talk about, what percentage of the coins have you acquired? In other words, what percentage of what you feel, Greg, is the point that's going to make us collectively all wealthy? What percentage of those have we acquired at this point?
Well, I'd say that we probably acquire between a quarter and a third of what we need to, so we still have quite a bit ways to go yet.
Okay. And Scott asked a follow-on question, how much investment is needed so you can acquire what you believe needs to be in the collection? If you've read our literature, our initial goal is $50 million worth of coins. But I have a feeling that we're going to hit that and just keep on running. And so it's always good to have goals. And we started with 50 million as an initial goal. But I wouldn't be surprised at all to see us put together 100 million. It's just, it seems like it's getting harder and harder to find the coins. And I think part of that is, you know, right after the election, we saw a huge upswing in interest in gold because people understand where things are going, and we have, you know, I'll just mention that we have people working hard to get their money in before the end of the year in case there is any type of new registration requirement coming out the first of the year. So any thoughts to add to that, Greg?
Well, obviously, the sooner the better, and that's always been the best business plan, is because it'll always cost you more tomorrow than it will today. The plan is not a specific amount that if we get there, if we don't get there, we don't succeed. You have to understand the marketplace is vast, far beyond our group, It is worldwide in scope, and it is advancing every year on its own, and has been for quite some time. Now, we're simply trying to get as large a part of that collection within our own group's hands as fast as we possibly can, simply because the price keeps going higher. Had we spent all the money in the first year rather than spread out over several years, we would have been able to have bought the coins cheaper. So it's to all of your best advantage to get invested as quickly as possible because the price keeps going higher. That's our motivation.
Okay, well, we're going to let that be the last word. And Greg, Martin is requesting a call from you. I think you have his phone number.
I am at the meeting when we get off.
Okay, will do. All right, folks. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, a blessed time with your family. As I mentioned to everyone last night, let your family know you love them and appreciate them. And just have a great holiday season. Enjoy these 2 weeks off and come back ready to get to work learning again on the 7th and 8th of January. Good night. Merry Christmas. God bless you.
God bless.